Well, we did it. Right there. Royal Enfield, rock red color. 2 miles on it. And now we are going to go take her for her first ride. Wahoo! Excited. I purchased this at Baxter Cycle in Marnie, Iowa. The price was exactly the price on the tag they had attached to it. There was no extra fees, no hidden cost, just exactly that. Very easygoing. They didn't try to sell me on any upgrades, or, you know, they asked me, but they didn't push anything. They were nice enough to give me a full tank of gas. All right, wahoo! Hello, Fuzzy Biker here. It is October 7th, 2021. Look what we got here. I picked this up the other day. It is a Royal Enfield Himalayan. I got it with 2 miles on it yesterday, and we've got, well, let's see what we got. 120 miles on it today. I'm going to take it out for a couple 100-mile ride. I'm going to do little backcountry roads and stop at some parks and just see what I can find out there. I've had it on gravel, I've driven it down the sidewalk, I've drove it on grass, I've had it on pavement. So been having a lot of fun with it. That color is rock red. Basically the whole bike is black except for this part of the tank, and it's got this little silver stripe. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about what it is, where I got it, the experience of buying it, how it rides, and anything else I can think of. Let's go see what we can find out. Yahoo! Rolling down the road on Highway 44. Wahoo! Look at the view. Alrighty, we've driven for about 140 miles. We're 130, 140 miles. We're out here at Elk Grove, where those windmills are. That's Ottoman County. What is this motorcycle? Well, it's a Royal Enfield Himalayan. It's a British company originally. The bikes are now made in India. I don't know if it's actually an Indian company or a British company, but originally it was a British company. The bike itself is their Himalayan model, which is supposed to be their adventure bike. I'm going to start with the engine. It's a single cylinder, single overhead cam, 2-valve, 411cc. That's producing, I think it's about 24.5 horsepower and about 23.5 foot-pounds of torque. It does not want for power, you know, for normal riding, gravel roading and such. I've had a ball with it, but anyway, there's a catalytic converter in the exhaust. It's got a 5-speed transmission, you know, a wet clutch, tow shifter, which works very well. It looks stubby, but I think that's because the access point is right there. The bike has a back seat. It's chain drive, by the way, and comes with foot pegs for the rear passenger. I've got her loaded down. I just got this yesterday, so I really haven't figured out how to carry cargo on here yet and what I'm going to do about baggage. But anyway, suspension, I think it's got 41 millimeter forks on the front. They're normal forks. The spoke wheels, of course. It's got about 7.9 inches of travel on the front, 21-inch wheel, single disc brake with a 300 millimeter rotor. The back has a 7.1 inch travel. It's a monoshock with a link system to get a little more travel out of it. Hydraulic brake on the back disc, the 240 millimeter. It's got a single caliper, a single pod caliper. It's kind of like a car, you know. It's got the one piston on one side, and on the front it's got a dual pot, but they're both on the same side, so the caliper actually floats, and all the pistons are on one side. 2 pistons on the front, both on the same side, 1 piston on the back. The I think the color is rock red, they call this. By the way, it's it's got an air-cooled, it's air-cooled and oil-cooled. It's got a bash guard on the bottom. About, I think it's 8.6 inches of ground clearance. Little rack on the back that came with it. These racks on the side. So let's look at the dash real quick. She's got big old speedo analog, tachometer analog, fuel gauge, analog. Has a battery light, which is unusual for a lot of motorcycles. ABS brakes, by the way, front and back, and you can shut off the back ones. So if you don't want the back one on, you can turn it off. Has this compass, which is, the degree of accuracy is supposed to be 45 degrees. I doubt it. For instance, that is west in front of us, and the compass is reading east. So, you know. But anyway, switch gear. It's got this choke, even though it's a fuel injected bike, it has this cold start option, and actually I had to use it. Okay, the blinkers work pretty good, high, low, flash to pass, horn, kill switch, hazard light switch, which is interesting. I've never had a bike with a hazard light switch. And then the start button over here, hydraulics, master cylinder for the front brake, cable clutch. Oh, the bike's on, yeah. So the headlight is separate from the fork. Pretty quiet running. Back tire, I think, is a 17. There it is, 120 90 17. What brand are these? CEAT. I've never heard of such a thing. CEAT. The front is a 90 90 21. The rear is a 120 90 17. CEAT. Well, I'm going to find out how those work. It's got a center stand, which is awesome, and I've used it quite a few times already. Fenders are plastic. Air cleaners under this cover. Battery under this side. Fuel. It's got a 4-gallon fuel tank. Just about 4 gallons. And I've got, like I said, 130 miles, 140 miles on it. And the tank is about half full, or maybe a little less than half. That says a little, well, anyway, about half, 140 miles. And my Honda, my Shadow, I get about 125 to 150 max on that. So I'm really thrilled about this, because I should be able to go 250. Look at all those cows watching us. 250 to 300, 250 to 280 on a tank. So, you know, if I refill at 225, 250, I should have plenty of fuel. Other things, the bike weighs, I haven't weighed her, but I've read that she weighs anywhere from 400 to 410 empty, and 430 to 440 wet. She feels very light when riding, but we'll talk about the handling later. Comfortable to ride on. The seat height is 30.5 inches. I do not feel like it's a tall bike. I'm on the balls of my feet when I'm at the stop, but getting on and off, you have to throw your leg over the higher back seat, and so that you do feel the height there. But this here comes off. There's a key spot here. This back seat part comes off, and there's a document spot and a little place to carry things and stuff like that. But I don't know what else to tell you here about this thing, other than I'm just having a ball riding it. So the next stop, I'm going to tell you about the buying experience. I bought this new day before yesterday. I picked it up yesterday, and I had the most amazing buying experience from Baxter Cycle, Marnie, Iowa. All right, let's keep on rolling. The bike seems to be handling really well on this. Let's see, we're going about 50. Nothing, I mean, there's no quirkiness, or look at those cows. They're out there enjoying life, thinking about hamburgers. Hey, we've made it to Guthrie County, to Springbrook State Park. Beautiful place. Old CCC era shelters and bathrooms that aren't in use anymore. They've got the Kaibos now. But anyway, beautiful place. They've got a big old lake out there, and well, it's not a big old lake. It's a kayak lake, I guess. But anyhow, bike's running great. Last time I told you all about it. By the way, the wheelbase is 58 inches on this thing. And anyway, a lot of fun to ride today. I've just been having a ball on it. I had to juice up the tank. It ran out of gas, or didn't run out of gas, but it has this neat feature where when the gas gets to 1.1 gallons, the trip meter starts to flash, and it goes to 0. It still saves the A and B trips, but it goes to 0. and then it starts counting again, and that'll let you know how many miles you have on since hitting reserve. And I think I drove 16 or 17 miles, but it's supposed to be over a gallon, and I think it's 1.1 gallons, so that should be about 80 miles of range. And when I did juice it up, it took 2.8 gallons. Now I don't know how much it. When I picked the bike up the other day, yesterday, it said it had a full tank, but I never visually checked it. But anyway, having a ball with it. So I want to talk about the buying experience. I bought this at Baxter Cycle. We don't have many dealers in Iowa. I think we have 2 actually, and there's one in Nebraska. But I went to Baxter Cycle. They had several of these on the showroom floor. I know those people there pretty well. But each bike had a card on it, a little sticker that said the price, you know, and a setup fee. This had a price plus a setup fee. The setup fee was setup plus shipping. It was about 500 bucks. But so I told the guy I wanted one, but I wanted this color. They didn't have this color. They called around. They found a store that had one in the color I wanted, which was this rock red. And they said they'd go pick it up and bring it over. And I said, well, what about money? And the guy says, well, price on the ticket, that's what you pay. I said, no, before we do anything, I want it all in writing. He said, okay. And so he made out some paperwork, and the price on the ticket was the price that I had to pay to the dollar. To the dollar. Nothing extra. They did not collect license fee or tax there. I had to do that when I took the paperwork into the courthouse. I ended up paying, it was $275 tax, and then the MOS fee, whatever that is, and the license plate fee, all that added up to, by the time I was all done, it was an extra $350. So the price that I paid Baxter plus $350 on the road. They did not try to upsell me on anything. They mentioned they had extra warranty, 2 different kinds, one for wheel and tire and one for the actual bike. I declined, and they immediately dropped it. No push, no hard sell. They asked me about accessories. I said I wasn't interested. They didn't even show them to me. And they've got lots there. I mean, I've looked at them all. So very easygoing, easy operation. Gave them a down payment. They went and picked up the bike. I came back the next day, paid for the rest of it. They gave me the paperwork. I drove to the courthouse, and 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, I had a license plate. And down the road I go. So I have bought a lot of vehicles in my life, and I've been to dealers. I tried to buy a bike this year. It was a $20,000 motorcycle, and by the time they were done with me, they wanted $25,000. And I thought that was just crazy, and I told them that. And we went back and forth, and they dropped about $800 more off. So it's still 24 something for a motorcycle that's supposed to be 20 grand, you know. And so when I went to buy this, and by the way, I've had that experience at virtually every dealership I've gone to. They always have this, you know, the bigger dealerships are owned by whatever, and they have insulated group, you know, they're insulated from the customer. The customer comes in and talks to a salesman, then has to talk to the sales manager, then has to talk to this person, that person, that person. They work you through a whole line of people, and every stage they increase their profit range. You know, the finance guy, the warranty guy, and they use pressure sales. It's like, boy, if you don't buy this, there's something wrong with you, you know. And there was none of that at Baxter, none of that, zero. So very happy with the service and how things work there. Okay, let's talk about how the bike handles and the power. Well, it's still in break-in, so I can't really give you a lot on power because I've kept it about 4,500 RPM at the max. Yesterday I kept it below that. Tomorrow I'll have, by the end of tonight, I'll have over 300 miles. At 311, you're supposed to change the oil and check the valves. So I'll do that in my shop tomorrow. I bought the oil for it this morning and the filter, and I'll take it. I'll take it tomorrow morning. I'll put it on the lift, and we'll do all that. Once I do that, then I think you have to go up to 1,200 miles before you can really start rocking and rolling on it. So I drive pretty mellow, and I've had a lot of fun on it so far. And as far as power goes, you know, it's a 25 horsepower, 24 horsepower motorcycle, and I've been having a lot of fun on it. So handling. So I've driven this on about 10 miles of gravel so far. I've taken it across some lawns, up a sidewalk. You know, I've done some over a couple curves, and it's just handled like a charm. You know, it's just on the highway, it's almost boring on the I hate to say that, almost boring on a straight road. It is boring. You just kind of float along. Something with curves, it gets a little more exciting, kind of like a fighter pilot kind of thing, you know, I suppose. On gravel, it's got some really good behavior on gravel. I just commend it on that. You know, it was a lot of fun, very stable feeling. It didn't give me any issues, or, you know, it didn't make me think, ooh, watch that, or be careful, you know. And I haven't driven a, you know, off-road bike in a long time, and this really did well. I was very happy with it. Very happy with how it performed. Braking wise, I have had no trouble with the brakes. They're not broke in yet, of course. You know, they've got something like 170 miles on it so far. But they have very good feel. And I did try to lock it up on gravel, and it will not lock up. It's got ABS front and back. Will not skid the tires. I am told, well, there's a button up here. You can turn off the rear ABS with that button, but I'm not going to do that. And if you turn that off, you can skid the back tire. And I did do that on the test bike. They lent me a bike a month or so ago. I made a video about it. Go back and watch that one. And I put about 180 miles on that. And that one, a pack of dogs ran out for me. I had to skid to a stop. And it did actually skid. I had the ABS shut off. But so handling-wise, I would say she's a winner so far. I have very much enjoyed how she's performed. Very predictable, stable, exciting. You know, on gravel, there's no quirkiness or feel of danger with it. I'm very happy with it. Very happy with it. And I really do like the way it looks. What do y'all think of the way it looks? Let me know. I want to know. Just gorgeous. Like I said, I'll figure out something for the luggage. Sorry about that, guys. My grandson's got a ball game. I got to get there, so I have to have a chair. So anyway, just having a ball. I got some dust on it already, as you can see. I by the way, see the center stand, you know. But just look at that thing. Isn't that just neat? Next up, I'll give you a rundown, kind of an overview of the whole thing. I don't know what else I could add to it, but I'll kind of give it some thought and let you know about what I think about the whole bike. But catch you there. I got some riding to do. Yahoo! We have made it to Ledges State Park. We're going to skip the campground. That's over yonder, outdoor theater, all that neat stuff. Beautiful park, by the way. Now we're going to head on down to where the beauty is, the actual ledges. This is Iowa's most popular park, and I think that's because it's between Ames and Des Moines, a lot of population in this part of the state. And on the eastern end of the state, there's also a lot more options for this kind of thing. But it's an absolutely gorgeous park. Spent a lot of time in there. There is a massive trail system with walkways and all kinds of neat stuff. We are right now at the top of the park, and we will work our way down to a river or a creek that runs through the park and then dumps into the it joins into the, I think it's the Des Moines River. So the bike has been performing flawlessly. I've absolutely enjoyed it. If you can read the mileage, I'm 220 almost. You have to change at, I think it's 311 miles is when they want you to change the oil, or thereabouts. 311, you have to find one of them Indian gurus if you want to know why that's the magic number. I don't know why it is, but by the way, there's a clock here and also a temperature gauge. Compass, which is wrong. North is that way. Fuel gauge, of course. But the bike has just been working flawlessly. I've just had an absolute ball on it this afternoon. This would be a nice lookout, except for all the trees that block the view. Looks like there's a park bench over yonder. I think there's like I said, this park is full of trails. But so what did I want with a bike like this? I wanted a bike that when I came to the end of the road, I could keep going. I wanted something that, you know, when I'm going down the Iowa blacktops, 2-lane blacktops that I just love, and then La Sombra, my Honda, just eats up. You know, when I came to a sign that said 5 miles of gravel this way to some sort of attraction or another, I wanted to be able to just take it, you know. There's a neat view there, kind of. I wanted something that I could go camping with, you know, something I can go up and down hills with, something I could go down by the rivers, and all kinds of neat things like that. Howdy, y'all. And I wanted something smaller, lighter, nimble, on-off capable, but I didn't want a full bore on-off. You know, like I looked at a KLR, and that was really a good option, but just a couple $1,000s more. But it was far more off-road than this bike would be. Oh, we're neutral. Anyway, I wanted a bike that I could take on, you know, through the Luss Hills, the dirt roads, the B roads we call them in Iowa, even the C roads across fields, you know, into the edges of the wilderness areas that we have. Foot pegs are very good for standing on. And I didn't want to spend a fortune. I didn't want a big expensive, you know. There are some beautiful, beautiful adventure bikes, but the adventure kind of goes out of them when you know, realize how much they cost if you drop them. So anyway, so then why did I choose this particular bike? I scoured, you know, I looked, I drive, you know, last year I drove about 40 bikes. This year I've driven about almost 50. And every bike I just fall in love with, every single bike. Look at this beautiful rock outcrop here, and that's just the beginning. But when I rode this bike this year, I just absolutely fell in love. It was the right thing at the right time, you know. Gorgeous. And anyway, it was just so what other options did I have? Well, I looked at the KLR like I talked about, and the new one just came out this year. The cheapest one of those, the one that's in about the same trim level as this, $6,600, $1,600 more than this one. The dealer wanted a couple $1,000s just to have you sell it to them, you know. They wanted a bonus. And it was also far too off-road for me. As a wonderful bike, but it's a little more, you know, a little more than I wanted. I looked at seriously looked at the KTM and the 390 and the Husqvarna, particularly the Husqvarna. Husqvarna has one they call a 401. It's essentially the same thing as a 390 KTM, but it's okay. First time through water. Let's see what happens. And those bikes were absolutely gorgeous. They're very different than this bike, though. There's that waterway that runs through the park. They were high revving motors. They were lighter weight. They had more power. Higher revving motors. They were liquid cooled. They were 4 valves per cylinder. They were a little more complex than this. You had fairings. Look at that. Wow. Fairings you had to remove to get through things, or, you know, a little more work you had to do to get to things. They weren't quite as simple as these bikes are. I got water in my visor. But they were, like I said, gorgeous bikes. It would have been very good motorcycles. The higher revving. I've had high revving bikes before. You get used to it. It's really not an issue at all. But I wanted a low revving, easygoing, friendly bike, and this is that bike. I also like the looks of this bike better than the other ones. And the other thing about it was the dealer network. Baxter Cycle that sells Royal Enfields and sells a lot of Royal Enfields. Nice puppy. It's 30 minutes from my house, so, you know, very, very easy decision there. I bought it because it was friendly, easygoing, torquey, wasn't over revvy, wouldn't be buzzy. When I drove it, it was very, very, look at this view here. Very amicable, very enjoyable. It just, if you go back in my reviews, you can see where I drove initially drove this bike. And I put 180 miles on it one day, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. And you can just see how in that video you can actually see the excitement I feel as I go. It's just so freaking awesome of a bike that day. This one is gonna hopefully be the same way. Plus I like the looks of this one better. So overall, so far, I would say it's a winner. I'm gonna do the maintenance on this bike tomorrow. The 311 mile maintenance. I'll try to make a video of that. I don't know if I can make one that's cohesive and coherent, so I'll do my best and try to post that. Look at this place. Isn't this just gorgeous? This is near Boone, Iowa, just south of Boone, Iowa, right off the Des Moines River, south of Highway 30. Anyway, I am having a ball on this thing. Life is good, the bike is fun, and I am gonna head to my grandson's ball game now. So y'all have a good time, enjoy life, and if I can answer any questions about this or any other motorcycle, please put them in the comments below. If you have an interesting motorcycle that you think I should take a look at or should try to find, or if you have one you'd like to show me, get a hold of me. All right, y'all, take care. Enjoy.